Other reasons for persons to exhibit ADD and ADHD-like symptoms include poor nutrition. In our day and age of having just about everything under the sun to eat, one of the things we really suffer from is the fact that most of the food we eat is already processed and pre-prepared. Those types of foods are loaded with chemicals, they're loaded with food additives, they're loaded with preservatives. They cause a lot of oversensitivity, if not true allergies, and that type of problem can lead to a hyperreactivity in individuals. I actually have kids that I work with that when they eat certain foods become very moody, become very irritable, become physically agitated, physically fidgety, and really high energy. When those food items are taken away and they're fed an organic and heavy plant-based diet, those symptoms dissipate. So true nutrition is really, really important. Some of my clients actually have low iron levels, or low vitamin B12 levels, and low vitamin D levels, and those things can contribute as well to inattention and hyperactivity. Other issues are the fact that kids developmentally are going to be energetic the younger they are, and they're going to be displaying that. And so it's important to take a look at a person's developmental level. Another key issue for activity and inattention can be the fact that kids are overstimulated. We ask kids, adolescents, and adults to do way too much in this society. There's very little mental downtime. There's usually noise on from either the TV or the radio or the internet. People are on the internet for huge periods of time. They don't get the opportunity to just decompress, and that can add to anxiety and agitation and hyperactivity. Another big problem we have is that it's just not been as safe to go outside and have kids go out and play in the neighborhood. Many parents are either single family parents and somebody's working, so those kids are told to stay home or they're in after school care, or both parents are working until late and kids come home and they have unsupervised activity, and they're typically couch potatoes sitting on the couch and they are just physically inactive. We have found, and we see studies in kids that are given an opportunity to run and jump and play for more than an hour every day, they display less inattention issues and a lot less hyperactivity. I found that kids will also be physically more active the younger they are, and as they get older they're able to kind of balance, sort of what the social conventions are. Another reason for people to have inattention and focus issues have to do with learning issues. Many kids have learning issues, and when they don't understand something can display behavioral outbursts or sort of being the class clown. And when it's discovered that they do have learning issues and those learning issues are specifically addressed, oftentimes the inattention and focus or the overactivity can calm down tremendously. And then another reason for people to have, especially kids, to have inattention and focus issues can be learning or hearing issues. Many kids have undiagnosed visual problems or undiagnosed learning problems or hearing problems, and those hearing problems can cause fidgety behavior, can cause behavioral outbursts, can cause overactivity, and so addressing those can oftentimes calm those symptoms down. When providers go and they look to see if a child or an adolescent or an adult has inattention issues or hyperactivity, you really have to look at them in more than one situation. Typically, a student at school may be really, really acting up, but if they don't have those issues at home, then it may not be an attention deficit kind of issue. If a child manifests problems with attention and focus and hyperactivity issues or impulsivity at home and at school, or at home and at work, say that might be true for an adolescent or adult, that pulling that information from the people that work with them or are with them on a regular basis, and if that information all is corroborated, then that's more likely that that's a proof that there's an attention, focus, or impulsivity activity, diagnosis. For people that have attention and focus issues, they typically do really well with routines. And so I encourage parents and caregivers to make sure that the child or adolescent has routines and behavior and bedtime, that if they are not sleeping much, making sure that sleep disorders or not enough rest has been ruled out. People that are don't have a lot of rest, or don't sleep long enough periods of time, especially growing kids and adolescents, they need more than 7 hours of sleep a night, that they have regular standard routines so that they're rested well enough that they're not so tired they can't pay attention in class, or that they're just not fidgety enough, so that they can kind of chill out and calm down. Another issue can be that kids don't have adequate sleep because they keep waking up at night, and so making sure that they're not having problems with bad dreams or night terrors, that being an issue. That can be another reason to contribute to inattention and impulsivity. Another issue that a lot of us forget about is that if a child or adolescent or adult is under a tremendous amount of stress, or they've been through a great loss in their life, they will exhibit inattention and focus issues. And they will also sometimes have behavioral outbursts, which can be misinterpreted as an attention and focus issue. A lot of people are unaware, even professionals, that persons with depression, specifically bipolar, can manifest like an attention and focus and hyperactivity issue, when really it's sort of a depression and a manic cycle that's occurring. So kids and adults and adolescents that are going to be diagnosed with attention and focus issues first should have a provider screen, that there's no reason for blood work that's a problem, no low iron levels, no low vitamin B levels, no low vitamin D levels, no issues with their thyroid that could be either hyperactive or hypoactive, no life circumstances that could cause inattention and focus issues, no learning issues that can be a piece of it. I tell folks that really it takes a team to diagnose. We look at the caregivers as being excellent historians. We do look at teachers, but I don't really feel good about teachers jumping to conclusions and saying, hey, this kid is this, and labeling it, because a teacher will only see a certain part. And also, teachers have their own personalities, and making sure that that child or adolescent isn't reacting to that other person's temperament is really important. Kids that are getting bullied at school can oftentimes have inattention and focus issues that will look like a hyperactivity, or will look at like, just a person that's daydreaming. So a child will need to be evaluated for that, and their nutrition absolutely needs to be evaluated, their sleep needs to be evaluated, and their routines need to be evaluated. And another thing that we don't often look at is, has a kid been mistreated at home or by somebody else, and could that be a reason? May they be someone that is suffering from trauma? So when you are wondering, hey, what could other causes of attention and focus issues or other causes of hyperactivity be in an individual, these are some of the things that you need to look at. So I'd like you to just sort of kind of consider this before you allow someone to jump to a diagnosis, or you yourself jump to a diagnosis for yourself or your child or another individual that you've encountered. My name is Kimmer Collison-Riss. I'm a nurse practitioner, and I love kids and adolescents, and I am glad to be of service for any issues related to ADD in a holistic manner that can better add to just the health and well-being of the family and the individual. Thanks.